live.
All right. Woo-hoo,
Hey,
finally made it.
hey, everybody, and happy Friday. When you see Fran, you already know that it is Friday. So, before I begin and my introduction with my guest, I am going to click my little intro video. Here we go.
Let's go. Let's get it. 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 Let's go.
Well, I just do that
I
because
love
I
it.
I enjoy the energy of that. This sister that I have on with me today, Charmaine Holland, she actually caught me when I was coming out of the Men's Central Jail. And for those of you that are just now watching my show for the first time, or if you have kept up, I have a 25-year-old, and I was going to go visit him. And then Charmaine, I heard some laughter in that area, and I was like, jail and laughter, like those two things don't go together. So me and my nosy self, I had to go over there and find out what was going on. And so Charmaine, she caught me and she was just like, sister, just kind of telling me about the Essie sisters. So now that I've actually gone through the program, thanks to her, I am so grateful that I heard her laugh that day because it has changed my life in such a tremendous way. I do feel like crying right now, and I might just do that.
Let it go. Let it release. Nobody's gonna water your garden but
Oh,
you, beautiful.
yes. So I just want to invite her into the platform to share with us her story about obstacles and just if she can actually give us a little bit of background of what she does, where she's come from, and then we'll get into our topic about obstacles and how to overcome them. Hi, sister.
Hello, darling. Well, thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to share who I am among your platform and your audience. My name is Charmaine Holland, and I'm an author. I am a financial advisor. I am a fashion designer. I am a healer, and I am a chaplain at the Women County Jail. And all that has allowed me to be able to do the work and find my passion to help other women. And as you know, we go through things in life to be able to help others. So I was raised and born in Philadelphia. I came to California. I have two kids, two grown men, 38 and 27, and I have seven grandchildren. And life has taught me so much where I'm just so grateful to be able to be present, to be able to pour into other people and help them to overcome the challenges and the obstacles that life has for all of us. And sometimes, people look at it as a bad thing, but I turn it around and try to show you the beauty and the obstacles that we go through in life. So this is why I'm here.
as you can hear, Charmaine just doesn't do one thing. She does quite a few things.
Yes.
Um, so sis, like, how in the world did you get into like? How did you find the Essie sisters? Like, how did you get into your journey to get to meeting me at that place that you saw me? Like,
Oh, wow.
share a bit with us because Charmaine's gonna be on next week, so don't be sad. She'll be back. So she's gonna share a little bit about what she feels led to share at the moment.
Okay, yes. Well, how I got to Essie's, you won't believe it, it was during COVID. Okay. So during COVID, my background is in finance. So I consult business owners, entrepreneurs, small business to understand their business by helping them prepare financial statements so they can know how well their business is for that month, for the year. I'm also a tax preparer. So I was in my comfort zone. I was stuck in my comfort zone, and I know there was so much more that I need to get out, but I just was still undecided exactly how God wanted to use me. And so I was more or less undercover, doing things that only certain people knew a lot that I do. But in the meantime, because I was a CFO and I became a financial advisor, I started just doing, working on people books. Then all of a sudden, one day, somebody hacked my computer and took all my files out. And it devastated me because I didn't know what to do. And so sometimes when God tells you to get out there and do stuff and you don't do it, he'll let something else take place to force you to get out. So I heard this little voice says, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. Get out in the world and go help people. Now, I didn't have no files. So I guess the only thing I had to do was get out in the world, go help people. So I just went out in the world and just started spreading my wings, and people would just come to me and talk to me and then tell me about their problem. And from that moment, I said, okay, you know what? I'm familiar with this here, only because my background, I was a teen mom. So I was pregnant when I was 13 years old. I had my child when I was 14. When I had my child, I was 14, my father and my grandmother, they were my pillars. So like on the weekend, I would go visit my dad and my grandmother. My grandmother, she was the captain of the street. So everybody would go and talk to her, and she was nosy into everybody's business. So I would go tag along with her. My dad was military, so it was always about the war, the government he's always talking about. So I learned growing up with them. Then all of a sudden, when I became pregnant, they didn't know how to deal with it. So they started pretending I didn't even exist. And because I seen them act a way that I never seen them act, I didn't want them to behave that way. So I pulled away from them because I didn't want to feel, I was already feeling neglected, but I didn't want to keep feeling this pain. So I let them be in a space where they at, and I stayed in my own space to take care of whatever God had for me, because this was my journey now that I had to deal with. Yes, it hurt that my dad and my grandmother wasn't there, but I had so much peace. And that's let you know when God do things, he's teaching you something. My family around me, I have 7 brothers and sisters. My mom, they all embraced this process that I had to go through. I wish I could explain it, but it was so much peace. It's like I had so many people protecting me. I didn't have to worry about nothing. Being this 14 young girl pregnant, had no idea even how she got pregnant, but she was pregnant and had life in her. And so fast forward, I had to be able to know how to love that baby unconditionally. I would not have let nobody hold that baby. It was something I can't even explain how there was mine. It was mine and nobody could take it away. That's how I treated that baby. It's like a human backpack. So I was able to have that opportunity at the age of 14 to nurture a baby, a soul, and cultivate it and raise it up to be the best that it could be, so it taught me all the do's and the don'ts. So, nobody wanted to hang around with a 14-year-old with a child. So it taught me how to go within, and God just poured into me, and my intuition just told me exactly how to take care of this child. Yes, my mother helped me, my siblings, if I needed them, they helped me. Even the kid's father, their family helped. So I had the help, but it wasn't easy, but being a 14-year-old, I just had to do what I had to do. And maybe because of what my grandmother put in me, and seeing my dad and my mother, they were always workaholics, working, got to do what you got to do, move forward. So fast forward, we'll come back to that maybe in another topic. But because during that process, growing up, when I was in my 20s, grown people would come to me and they was like, I'm having problems with my relationship or my marriage. And I'm looking like, you're talking to a 20-year-old. And they said, but it's the way how you articulate it. You use your words in such a way that it helps. And it kept coming back to me. And I'm thinking, do I got a sign on my forehead that says, go talk to her? And apparently I did. So when God said, go out in the world to go help people, that 20-year-old came back and realized I was in my training all that time. And so, talking to more and more women, then I started talking to other women who was already in SC. And then from that point, I realized that I would go home and see my family, and my family, the foundation, something wasn't right in my family. And I thought because I left home at 18, I heard Spirit say, there's nothing here for you. It's time to go. So I picked up and I took my child, and I had an opportunity to go to Virginia. Yes, question?
Yeah. So I was wondering, like, from the stage, like when you had experienced that rejection with your dad and your
Yes.
grandmother,
Hmm.
also too being a teenager at 14 and having a child, like how in the world did you navigate that? I know that you said that you went within, but not a lot of people know themselves enough to even make that call. Like, what was it that made you know that this was that the decision to move here or do this was something that was right for you?
Okay.
Was there like symptoms? Was there like events that occurred? Like, what happened?
Yes. Okay. So at the time when it was time for me to go into delivery, I went to the hospital. Never, I won't forget it. It was on Marvin's Gaye when he was died when his father killed him. I was going into labor, and so when I went to the hospital, I gave birth, and when I gave birth, I was on the delivery table singing. So everybody was talking about this 14-year-old
Did you say
girl.
singing?
Yeah, I was singing, girl. I was singing one of the rap songs. I was singing on the delivery table, and everybody like the baby having a baby. So I was the talk of the town. Now keep in mind, when I was pregnant, nobody really was talking. So when I get to the hospital, everybody making a big deal about this baby having a baby. I'm thinking, y'all talking about me? But I was just on the delivery table and I was singing. So back then, this was in '84. Back then, they keep you in the hospital for 5 days. So here I am, young. I didn't have a TV, didn't have a radio. I'm in this room with this baby. All of a sudden, this lady appears. She had all white on, and she would come and sit there and talk to me all day long. And from that moment, didn't realize who this lady was. I just thought this something what they do. Lady come in, she talks to you, and then tell you about everything about how to take care of the baby, blah blah blah. Well, it was time for me to go. I was looking for Nurse Loretta. There was no Nurse Loretta. They said, we don't have no Nurse Loretta. I said, yeah, she came and talked to me all day long. They said, man, we do not have no nurse that come into no hospital and sit down and talk to you in the room. So by that time, I started looking crazy. So I said, I better zip it up. So by the time I left the hospital and my parents was taking me back home, there was like Charmaine no longer existed. It was like
Oh
I came
wow.
into motherhood just like that. And so there was nothing about Charmaine. Charmaine didn't care about Charmaine. It was all about the baby. And I believe that the nurse was an angel that came and talked to me and taught me a lot about what I need to do and and why I'm able to do the things that I do now is because of her presence. And she's still around me. She's still here with me. So
What? Like, what did she tell you in the hospital?
and I wish I can remember. I wish I could tell you I can
Okay.
remember, but all I know that Charmaine didn't exist no more. It was almost as if that 13 or 14-year-old girl died and became this mother to
Wow.
nurture this child. And from
Wow.
that point, she shows up. When I need her, she just shows up and her presence is there. I can go places and somebody could say, is your name Loretta? And I was like, no, that's my angel with me. And so yeah, so it's because of her. And
Wow.
we all have angels all around us. We're never alone, but she taught me that I'm not alone. And so when I even heard the voice says it's time to leave when I turned 18, I was more adapt to hearing spirits on the other side talking to me. So I'm very intuitive. And
Wow.
I was even more intuitive when I was young. That was just something was more familiar to me. But now that I was a little older, I was a little. Well, she was the first time that I really can identify her, and I could see her face in a human form, so I know exactly who she was. But because of her, she gave me that strength to take care of that baby and put him number one. And to this day, he's 38 years old. Yes,
So that nurse was an actual angel.
yes,
That's
yes.
amazing. Wow. So like, so what happened afterwards? Because you said that at 18, the angel said that there's, or yourself said that there's nothing left for you at home. How did that make you feel?
Oh, I was ready to go. I always kept telling myself when I turned 18, I'm out of here. Don't
Ah,
ask, yeah, don't ask me why. But I always said when I graduate, I'm out of here. I always had the spirit of being an entrepreneur, just watching my family, my siblings, and my aunts and everybody struggle. I don't know. I just had a whole different mindset of life compared to other people.
Wow.
But when I turned 18, I graduated on time, knowing that I still was pregnant. Even to the day, many people don't even know I was pregnant in high school. But I had the bigger overcoat on, and I just covered it very well. But yeah, when I turned 18, I was done, and my mother didn't even know I was leaving. She's standing at the door, and I'm packing, and she said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm out," and I just left, just like that.
Where were you going?
I was going to Falls Church, Virginia. My kids, the baby, well, the baby's father. I don't like saying baby father, but the baby father, he was in Virginia, and he said, "Hey, come on." I will always go visit him on the weekend, and so eventually, it was that time. I was like, "Hey, come on down." So I had the opportunity to leave home and stay there for about 2 years, and then it didn't work out. Then I came to California, and been here ever since.
Okay, so I guess how did you sustain yourself like after were you working over there, and then
Yes.
like what it
So
looked like when you came here to
okay.
California?
So let me rewind back a little bit. So
Okay.
I used to live right across the street from a supermarket. So the teenagers, when you're teenagers, you go across the street to the supermarket and you used to bag people groceries. And so you always get tips. So I will always have like $30 every week. So that was my money that I would use to help to buy baby, whatever my mother needed for the baby, that would go to the baby. So then about time I was 15, right across the street was a gas station. So then I learned how to be a cashier and start pumping the gas station, the pump for people getting gas when I was 15. So then from there, I got a little older and I worked at Toys R Us. So I was always find places to work so I could be able to take care of my child. And then once I started working at Toys R Us, then I was able to take care of daycare. At 16, I still would go to school, drop the baby off at daycare, come on home, pick the baby up, and do what I do. So that's how I was able. So my mother was a workaholic. She was a nurse. All I seen her do was work, work, work.
Mm.
And so that's all I do. Work, work, work. So I became, working really, a lot, but I know I had responsibility. So then that's when I left with 18. 18, I already had money. So it's not like I needed anybody to take care of me. So I went to Falls Church, Virginia, stayed there for a while. Even I think I ended up getting an apartment. And there was the people of the apartment, they was like, "We have never rented out to 18-year-olds with a 4-year-old baby." And they were kind of like mom and dad away from home. They was always looking after us.
How cute is that?
So we always had somebody to go to if we needed anything, but we did pretty good on our own. But then all of a sudden we started outgrowing each other. He was going one direction, I was going one direction. So it's like, okay. Then I had an opportunity to come to California just to take a vacation, but things wasn't working up. So I just packed up and just went to California and come back. And ever since I've been here.
Oh my gosh. You mentioned that you were a CFO. How did
Yes.
you what was that? What did that journey look like?
Oh, well, okay. So that's when I came to California. So when I came to California, I was 21 years old. And my first job was the company that I became the CFO. So what happened was that I ended up looking for just a regular job. Cashier is all I knew because I still was young. So they needed a cashier, and their company was West States Recycling. They recycle mobile home tires and axles. And so from there, they embraced me. And I embraced them. So I have a different mindset. I had set goals. I want to get a house by the time I'm 35. I wanted to be an office manager. I wanted to make all this money because, I have a different mindset because I got a child I got to take care of. So here I am, 21, had all these goals locked in. And every time I was done with assignment that they gave me, I said, "Okay, you got anything else?" She was like, "Oh, you want more?" Yeah. So then she started teaching me how to do accounts payable. So once I mastered that, I said, "Oh, you got something else?" She looking at me like, "Oh, you want more? Give me more. Look, I came here to work to make money. I got a vision. I need to go places. I'm not just gonna be here and just waste time." So she kept pouring into me. So she seen that I was hungry. And now keep in mind, the business wasn't making a lot of money. So, but I started just pouring into their business, and they started pouring into me. So I learned how to do accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll girl, computer girl, everything. After 18 years, I became the CFO running the whole company. They wasn't even there. They on a jet somewhere else flying away. By that time, they was making millions. The CPA, come to me, say, "All right, Charmaine, we need the books done." And so I knew how to just turn that business around upside down. All the staff, I would hire, fire. So I know how to run a successful business, having all the tools. You can't be successful without having the tools. You got to have people to help and support you. And that's what they taught me. So that's one thing that God put in front of me, this opportunity to understand business and wealth by being a young mom. But it's all about being hungry. What is it that you want? You know? And so there was days that I would go there 7 days a week. I would bring my child with me. And sometimes they'd be like, Charmaine, what does that sign say outside? It don't say Charmaine Holland. All right. So I had to kind of back off a little bit. But then there was a moment where God said, it's time to go. You have reached your capacity. And I was like, well, where am I gonna make 100,000? Here I am, 30-something years, 33 years old, making already six figures. That's how good. They would buy me brand new cars because they were making money. I was helping them making money. So they gave me bonuses and brand new cars. And so I was on top of the world when I was in my 30s, you know?
I love it.
Girl, I love it too. I'm trying to get back to that point too. It's coming. First I had to know the ingredients. I got the ingredients, but it's coming. So with that being said, then I started looking at myself in a mirror because I was going through a lot because they were going through a divorce. It was a husband and wife business, but they also had other partners in there too. And one side of my face, I started drooping down. Overall, I couldn't tell that I was stressing, but looking at my face, I could tell that something wasn't right. And then I started going to work, and then all of a sudden my stomach started hurting. And I was like, okay, why when I go here, my stomach hurt, but when I leave, I ain't got no problems. Like I'm back to Charmaine, like And then all of a sudden, one day I got to work, and they was asking me, Charmaine, we need this, we need that, and I couldn't remember nothing. Zip. I said, okay, God, don't take my memory, please. Okay, I'll back off. And that day is when I wrote my resignation. I was done. That was his message. Say, if you do not walk away, I will zap you.
Oh my God.
Right on out. So it's all about being obedient, listening. And from that moment, I walked away. They were disappointed. I did give them 2 weeks notice because I wanted to make sure, because I mean, they took care of me. It's like I was their kid. And even to the day, I still, me and the owner, we still talk and laugh on the phone. I would finish her sentence. We have meetings. She's talking. I'll finish her sentence, you know. But it was nothing but love, you know, love. And and that's how I became a CFO. And from that point, I started my own business in finance. And so that's where I got the skills at finance. And watching her, she was a millionaire. So she was dressed sharp. And so I couldn't afford her clothing. So then I picked up the skill that I learned in 10th grade, how to sew. So I made all my clothing. And so from there, you just keep practicing, and then you become good. And so that's how I became a fashion designer. So I make all my clothing.
Oh my God, girlfriend.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Oh my gosh. Talk about like overcoming obstacles, girl. This is you got a story upon story upon story, like, and you definitely outline what it is that you're, like you said you had goals in mind.
Yes.
And this is where you needed to go, and you said you were hungry.
Yes.
And that's really what pushed you and propelled you. You're like, yo,
Absolutely.
I got things to do.
Yes. No, I had no distraction. You know, I because I grew up so young, not really having no friends, you know, having friends at that job. It was like, hey, hi and bye. I kept it moving. I'm not, we can chit chat, we can talk, but it wasn't that type of, you know, let me hang out with you, let me party with you. And because I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I'm sorry, I was smoking, I wasn't drinking. So I didn't really do partying. I was still young, you know, it's a lot I didn't do compared to everybody else because I had a child that I had to nurture and I had to take care of. That was my responsibility as a mother.
Yo, sis, what are you doing now? I mean, sheesh. So you did that from 30, and I don't know how old you are now. I won't ask you.
It's okay. You can ask me,
I like to tell people that we're timeless.
We are. Yes,
so from the CFO, like what? So you went from CFO to opening up your own business, and then
yes, ma'am.
What are the things you're doing now? Because I know that you mentioned that you're also an author. Like, what's the book about? What, you know, could you share a bit about how that came about?
Yes. So during COVID, you know, when we had time off, I still was working, you know, so one of the books is called Walking in Your Purpose, One Day at a Time. And then the other one is called Walking with Grace. Okay. Now, during that time walking with purpose, I had no idea that I was not in my purpose. I thought I was in my purpose, being a
Mm,
fashion designer, helping entrepreneurs with their business. That's just something that we have to do to make a living.
right.
My purpose is how I pour into women that come to me that need help. And by
Mm,
me being a chaplain going into the prison, that's my passion. That's me walking in my purpose. That's me
mm.
pouring into them. It's priceless. And so my book, it really helped me to identify who. Oh, sorry.
For those that are watching and don't know what a chaplain is, could you explain to them what a chaplain does?
Well, okay, so a chaplain is a person, it's the it's almost kind of like a pastor or a clergy that go in there and just mentor them.
Okay.
Be that consultant, be that person if they need somebody to lean on, because they're not going to find the guards, the deputies, anybody lean on. So I'm there to touch them. I'm there to just listen to them and let
Mm,
them vent to me or tell me their problems, and then I just give them spiritual guidance to help them. And whatever denomination they from, put God first, because I always tell them, yes, I know jail looks bad, but I truly believe sometimes God try to get our attention and we too busy, we can't hear him, so he put you in this little holding tank like a cocoon where you don't have no distractions now. Now
mhm,
let's go do some healing. Let's go do
mm,
some work. Let's find out who you are and why
mm,
you were created, so you can find the true essence of who you are. So
mm,
that's me poured into them. Why
mm.
they in there at that moment. And I have no idea what time, how long God put you there, but while I'm there, I just pour into you.
Yeah, how in the world did you get to become a chaplain?
Well,
What's that story?
okay, so growing up, so I have two boys now, right?
Yeah.
Same father. I have two boys, and my oldest one went to the military after he graduated school. So I had my youngest one, and so me still being busy because I'm a busybody, I started going to the community, and so I converted to El Islam in my 30s, and so I'm still working as a CFO, and so now I see a community in LA that I can pour into, and they pouring into me, I'm pouring into them. So there was they do a lot of events, homeless feeding, and so I'm getting involved in the community, I'm meeting new people. And from
Mhm,
that point, I started, it seemed like God was putting me with all the interfaith leaders and
mhm,
working with the interfaith leaders. And I'm thinking, God, why you have me working with all these leaders? Not knowing that he was putting me in training to do the work that I'm doing. So I'm still young, still being fed, still being nurtured. But I was helping the leaders in the community. And they were always, Charmaine, I need your help. Okay, what you need my help with? Can you help me do a banquet? Okay, no problem. Let's do a banquet. So I was always that go girl, And so one of the leaders said, hey, we want to put a school together. We need a finance team. Okay, what you need? So put it together. Okay, let's go to FedEx Express. We in FedEx Express 3 a.m. in the morning trying to put a business plan together so you can have a school. So these are the things that I love. It's like creating and building, because at the end of the day, it's all about leaving a legacy. But I had no idea what I was doing. So one of the imams said, Charmaine, come on to the prison with me, because he go to the prison and talk to the women. So I go to the prison and I go talk to the women, and I just fell in love with it. And that was in 2012. And while I
wow.
was there, man, they gravitating to me. I'm gravitating to them. And I said, okay. So then from there, I just started going to Chino prison every week. And I would see them, talk to them, minister them, help them with whatever they need help, on a spiritual level, because that's all I know. All I
Yeah.
knew was business, God, that's it, because that has been my journey all my life,
Right. Right.
having an angel come and talk to you and then the teaching you finance, that's all I know. So that was just the only two things that I could really operate with to pour into people, business and put in spirituality. And so from that point, that's what I've just been doing all my life, really.
Girlfriend. So during COVID, you wrote about this book, which
Yes.
is the journey on helping people get to know themselves. Is that what it is?
Yes. So to be honest, my book was channeled to me. I didn't even know it was going to be a book. That's how crazy it was. I remember during COVID, I used to be a little girl and I used to always write stories because
Okay.
people will always come to me, right? So I will always write their stories down that they having issues with, and then I would change it around and put my own little twist to it. And so during COVID, ain't nothing really to do. Everybody's locked down. So I started writing again and come to realize, I said, wait a minute, this is like a spiritual affirmation. So I started writing affirmations and I would start writing my story of my life. And then I would use my affirmations that came to me. And then all of a sudden I said, oh my God. And then I met this woman back in 2010, and she's spiritual, and she was like, Charmaine, I can help you with your book. And so she has like 28 books. And so she was able to help me to edit my book. And so she knows what spirit want me to say. And she said, Charmaine, they said this is wrong. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, I did mess up on this part. And so that's how that happened. And so then all of a sudden it became a book. And so let me tell you, that book is almost like a Bible. You know how you read something and it just keep growing. You develop so much more. So the book is about acceptance, because of my upbringing, you sometimes you feel like, and I'm the black sheep, you could say, sometimes you feel like you go places and you don't belong, but you're trying to fit in. That's me. I'm always going places like, this is not where I'm supposed to belong. And so I always struggle with that. I just go because I don't know what else to do. And so in my book, it talks about acceptance. And I already knew God said, this is not for you. I got something bigger and better. You just need to be still and let people come to you. All my life, people has been coming to me, not me trying to go fit into other environment. So the book talks about taking the layers off, so you can identify who you are. So, acceptance. I truly, when you abandon, you really abandon yourself. So I stepped out of myself, knowing that I was still doing all this other stuff. But who was really Charmaine? I told you she died when she came out of that hospital. She became a mother. So now that my kids is grown, now I'm trying to identify who is she. I just know her from the mother perspective of nurturing and love. But who is she truly? So now I have to start ripping the Band-Aids off of her of all the pain that she was dealing with, so she can know who she is, so she can accept all of her. So there's to it, but that's what the book talk about. It talks about jealousy, understanding self-doubt, having courage, so all these things has little stories about me in it and have my own affirmations. But then I comes with a journal and I tell people what acceptance mean to me doesn't mean to you. So what does it mean for you, and what does that look like?
I love that.
So every day we go through challenges and we go through obstacles because we're still learning. And so when you're learning something, it's like, okay, well, what does that look like? What does that mean? Where are you trying to go?
What was one of your first lessons in acceptance?
To be still and not always think you got to be somewhere.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that identify who you are, know your value. Because see, I know what I carry, I know what I have, and I want to give it to people, but people ain't ready for what you got. So you're going to have to hold back what you got until God say it's time for you to use it, but I want you to use it the way I want you to use it. So now you have to be still and be able and ready to know how to accept all of you. That's all the pieces. So there's more pieces to me that I had to accept, but it's a process that I had to go through. So it's like an onion. You peel off one level, you discover something. Then you're like, uh-oh, there's something else.
Could you share a story that you experienced that actually like took you to that space of, oh shoot, I just stepped out of myself, but now I really have to come to the space of who this new Charmaine is, who actually rediscovering who this Charmaine is.
Okay, so onion has a lot of layers. So I'm gonna do one of them. So one of my acceptance is now is more prevalent. People talk more about it, and that's intuitive, that's spirituality. So because me, I see, I hear, I feel. Okay. And that means on the other side. Okay? And so these are gifts that I have no control of. Well, I used to be afraid of sharing to people because not everybody is ready to what Charmaine have. But Charmaine has to accept, look, you have no control. You are a spiritual being having human experience. And I had to accept that this is me. I'm a spiritual person. Yes, I see people on the other side. Yes, it's all in love. I see my family, I had to be able to accept that and be okay with what anybody say that who don't agree with it, not there yet, can't
Mhm.
comprehend. So that's one of the parts of acceptance. And like I said, there's an onion. So, we still peeling more layers, but that was one of my challenges. So I'm always kind of trying to fit in, but fit into what? What are you trying to fit into? It's not you.
Mm,
You know who you are.
mm.
So it's
I
almost
love,
kind of like hiding behind a rock because you don't want your light to shine.
yeah.
And light is powerful. Let that light shine and go heal people
Mm.
because you have gifts to help.
I love that. I love that. I think sometimes people think that they need to, like you said, fit into a space,
Hmm.
not really knowing that when you came here, you you basically created your own lane. Like
Correct.
you are here in your own essence to create and to
Yes.
make space for
Yes.
whatever gifts and stuff that you have.
Yes, yeah, and you so right on because when my child came to me, he came to fulfill something in me. So he already came in his own essence. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we have to understand. But because we come into an unbalanced foundation, broken people will end up hurting you. And so then, we end up losing the essence of who we truly are with the trauma that we have in our foundation. And that's our upbringing with our parents.
Mm,
They don't really know how to really be a parent. They only know, okay, we got a child and we got to go according to the society and we got
mhm.
to yell at you because things ain't going. All that shatters a child. You know what I mean? It hurts. It closes
True.
a child, and the child can't really come out to truly be who they are.
No, they can't. They
So
can't.
that's where it comes to peeling the onions now.
Yeah.
Now it's time to find your purpose so you can walk in it. And so that's what I had to do.
No, no, no. Go ahead and talk about that. But I just also too like tell the people where they can find that book.
Okay, so unfortunately, I was hacked on Amazon, but you can really find on Amazon. But if you want to get a signed copy and get a journal attached to it, my name is, you can do Cash App or you can Zelle me. So just two options. You can Cash App me with a $ in front of Charmaine Holland, just like you see on the screen,
Okay.
CHARMAINE, Holland, HOLLAND. And the book is 25 plus shipping, so $30 together. It comes with a journal and affirmation ink pen is what I give away. Or you can Zelle, and then my number is 714-905-3707. And you can Zelle me and I'll get your signed copy.
Somebody said hello, ladies. I don't know, Zebia.
Hello.
But sis, finish telling us about that book because it is so freaking powerful.
You know what? I tell you, I have so many people come back and they say, Charmaine, I like this book. You wrote it just for me. And it just touched me. I have one lady who got to courage and she was dealing with, she was a um, she was a foster child. And she thought that nobody really loved her. And she
Mm,
had so much she wanted to share. And she said she got the courage and broke down and cried. And she said, your book helped me to write my book. And so now she did research and she went back to every foster parent who took her in, who was still living, and
mm.
said, tell me about me. Why didn't you take me in as a real child? What did my file say? So she has such a beautiful story. And so
Wow.
yeah, the feedback is unbelievable. So I always sometimes when people write me and say, hey, I'd like a copy of your book, I said, just give me a feedback if you can. And I get so many stories because it's still feeding me. I mean, I'm still going. Sometimes I got to go back too. And it's like, okay, wait, what did I write about this? Fear. Remind you of fear because fear holds us back. And so,
Share one thing about fear, sis, because I know that is something that people deal with on a daily basis, and I
okay.
think yeah, it'll be a powerful key.
Well, like I said, the opportunity of waking up every morning is to be able to grow and overcome obstacles. That's what it's all about. So fear puts a lot of stress. We're afraid of what other people think or say, or we can't worry about what other people say and think because they don't know the answer to the problem either. If that's the case, everybody would be phenomenal. I mean, it would be back in the day like Egyptian. We'd be having pyramids everywhere because we
Mm,
can figure out life, right?
mm,
So what I learned about fear holds us back. And so I used to be so afraid of stepping out of doing, like I said, all the spiritual things that God has blessed me in, because I come with so many gifts, and sometimes I can't explain these gifts that I have. I just love to tap in to who I am, my creative side, and it just kind of just domino effect, right? So I used to be able, I was in a comfort zone for 7 years, and in my kid, I had one child, you always have one good and you got the other one a little challenging. And it's like, mama wasn't ready to cut that umbilical cord. And I'm thinking, man, you're holding me back. I got to move forward. But I didn't want to leave him hanging. And my mother got sick. And when she got sick, that was time for me to go. I had to cut the cord. And I said, babe, grandma's not feeling well. She keep going back in the hospital. I got to go. Are you okay? Long as he said, Mom, go 3 times, that was my cue. I could not stay around. And so he said, Mom, I'm good. Go. Are you sure? He said 3. So I said, okay. So I had to go to Philadelphia, 3,000 miles away. That was one of my biggest fear, because that's, your mama, mama don't want to let go, but you 20 something years old. I got to let you go, because the only way you're going to learn is by God teaching you. I can't teach you what God needs to teach you. I had to learn too. I was a teen mom. I had to fall, make mistakes, but I am so grateful that I had that opportunity. So who am I to deny you to not to fall? So it's hard. And I get so many mothers calling me and say, it's hard to cut that umbilical cord. It was hard for me too, but I had to let go. And trust me, I would call every day. You okay? Y'all doing good? And I said, all right, Charmaine. They'd be like, Mom, look, stop it. So then I said, okay, call every week. Then at the point, I said, you know what? If anything happened to my children, I have no control. All I can do is pray. And I just gave it to God. And they were so good. They was good. I stayed there for 2 years. And then once my mother got healed, the doctor said she's in the best health. She said, time for you to go back home to California. I said, okay. And I went back home. And from that point, I had my own wings. I didn't have to bother my children no more. They knew I was here. They said, Mom, you're my therapy. If I need you, I'll call you. That was it.
Beautiful.
It allowed me to step out and do even more. And so now, it's like, okay, you always busy. What are you doing now? So we check in every day. Sometimes we share little jokes. Sometimes we share little analogies, and I love it.
Sis, if you could take 3 things about your life that you would share with people that will help them anchor themselves in times of difficulty, what would those 3 things be? But besides getting your book, because I think they need to get your book. I think your book is the anchor.
Yes, it is. Definitely is an anchor. Let me tell you something. It will tear down some walls. You're going to cry. It will tear some walls. It's going to water your garden. So yes, if you can get the book, get the book. Trust me.
Show them again the name of
the name of it's called Walking in Your Purpose, One Day at a Time. You can cash at me. You can Zelle.
Can you put it up, because you can't really see?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It has a little foot, walking in your purpose. This is what we do every day. I say, if you're not walking in your purpose, you're not living. You just alive. That's it. But yes, this is the book. You said 3. Okay. One thing is find time to be alone. You do not need to have everybody around you. You do not need to check in with everybody. Find some time to just be alone. Just be in your own space. Love you. People say, oh, I'm so bored. How can you be bored being alone? It's you. If you say that you're bored or you're afraid to be alone, that means you do not know yourself. So I just say, look, find some time to just sit, read a book, meditate, just be quiet and just listen to yourself. And it's okay, you got thoughts in your mind, but try to think of positive things. Find yourself going to an ocean in your mind, but it's all about being still. I don't listen to TV, radio all day. Once in a while, I'll check in and find out what's going on, but I got to be able to tap in, be present, learn how to be present with yourself. It's okay to go to the movies by yourself. Enjoy you. That's one thing. And by you being by yourself, it teaches you what love really means. You got to start loving yourself. So many people looking for love, and a lot of ladies incarcerated, they're looking for love. And I say, you're not going to find love. Love ain't out there. Love is with you. Yes. And sometimes people don't even understand what love look like. I had
Mm-hmm.
one lady, she just bought her boyfriend a $70,000 Maserati. She said, I'm in love. You don't even know what love is. You trying to buy happiness. But she was lucky. I helped her return that vehicle back. He's
Okay.
not happy. But that's one thing. It's just being with yourself, learning how to love yourself, taking that moment just to turn off all the noise around you, even your cell phone. People call. It's not your schedule. This is not your time. It's my time. Have precious moment with your time, and then also find devotional. Put God first in everything that you do. Find your peace, your joy, and happiness. That's all I can say. Their main thing. Find your peace, love on you. Find
Mm-hmm.
things that make you happy. Find things that put a smile on your face. And then sometimes go in the garden. Go to your happy places, whether it's the beach, whether it's the park. Find some places where you can kind of just, woosah, bring that peace in so you can feel the essence of the universe just talking to you. If that
Um,
makes sense. I hope that makes sense to somebody.
oh, sister, you are like so spot on because those are all the things that I use to ground myself. And speaking of, I actually just released the article today talking about find your peace and then you can find your balance.
Yes, yes, yes. Light some candles, light some incense. When you buy incense, that clears the air. I know sometimes people use sage, but also incense. Find a good smelling incense and just let you know angels love good smell aroma. I mean, they
Yeah.
come, yeah, man.
Because
It's
I
like,
have, look, I got mine from Shades of Africa in the city of Long Beach, y'all.
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Listen,
Yes.
listen.
Yo, Miss Renee, she is
Yeah,
on point.
she is. She is. But try to get frankincense and myrrh too. If you don't have the oil, the incense. One day I was in that same store, right? And I knew I needed some frankincense and myrrh because my light is so bright. Even the unwanted spirits come follow me because they want some light. I can feel them when they're in my house and they ain't supposed to be in here. So one day I said, I need to go get me some frankincense and myrrh to clear my home.
Hmm.
I was in the store and I had it in my hand and they kept dropping everywhere. It fell out my hand. I said, okay, wait a minute. Why the heck this thing keep falling on my hand? Well, they didn't want me to take it home. They was following me in the store. They didn't want me to take it home.
Oh.
And I said, then definitely I got to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little signs, little nuggets. When things fall out of your hand, you got to question yourself. Why did that just fall out my hand? Little things happen for a reason.
I
And
be
that made me
doing that
think,
too.
huh?
I
You
said
be
I
doing
be
it?
doing that too. And I stop and think about that like why did this just like fell out of my hand quite a few times.
Yes. If you don't need it, that's one, or somebody don't want you to have it if it's benefiting
Mm.
you. So pay attention. Our energy, man, energy around us is unbelievable. But that'd be another topic.
Okay, look. We got to talk about that topic next week. But sister, I really enjoyed the time. Usually towards the end, I like to ask some personal
Questions?
questions. Yeah.
Please,
Okay.
please.
All right. Cool. No problem. Once again, can you let people let tell them where to get your book, where to find you, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna bring the questions back.
Okay, so again, you can get my book. Unfortunately, it's on Amazon, but I get no proceeds. But if that's the way you want to go, it's all good to me. I know God will bless me in more ways than other. But you can do Cash App with my name, Charmaine Holland, or you can Zelle with that number 714-905-3707. That's the business number attached to it. I do have a website, which is the same, CharmaineHolland.com. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's how you can find me. What else? My email address, if you need to write, ask questions, is Holland, the last name, HOLLAND, book, BOOK, at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Charmaine Holland, but it has two N's. My N got stuck. So it's a 2N in Charmaine and 2N in last name Holland.
Okay.
So that's where you can find me.
Thank you, sister. So the first question is, um, give actually, can you share a particularly memorable moment or experience from your career?
For my career,
Hmm.
business career, yes, a particular moment. Okay, so a particular moment when I became the office manager of the company that I was at. You know how you want to have your staff. you want to have your staff like you, because you gotta tell them what to do, and everything.
Mhm,
And they were going
mhm.
to Vegas, and so I thought I had to hang out with them and go to Vegas. It was the worst experience ever. That was a lesson for me, that to never have to follow other people only because
Mm,
it's your staff. And so
mm.
that was one particular moment. The other particular moment is to be able to um, just increase the business by me working, knowing the impact that I have made. Because when I first started, let's say the company was only making 100,000, to be able to be the CFO working there and seeing them make it 1 million, I know my contribution to the business was phenomenal. And because I
Mm.
learned so much. And so that's the beauty, to see how an entrepreneur became a millionaire over certain many years. So that
So
was
don't
one of the beautiful moments that I love.
so don't hang out with your staff.
No, 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 no. Don't hang on to staff. No, that's too much drama. Too much drama.
All right. What role has mentorship played in your life and career?
Ah, man, be doing community work. When I was working with all the imams, the leaders in the community, that was mentor, that was training, seeing them how they taking on that leadership role and being available for the community. Because the community always looking for the pastors, the imam, to help them with life experience or help them with this and that, and just to be their assistants, and just to see that in so many different leadership roles. That was beautiful. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. I was just being present and watching what God was doing in my life, of me helping them.
Mm, thank you, sis. Last question. How do you stay true to yourself and your values in a world that often tries to change or influence you?
Number one, gratitude.
Mm,
See the beauty in everything. Be honest. Be honest. Don't sugarcoat nothing for
mm,
yourself or for other people. And don't think you have to sell yourself out to get ahead.
mm. That's so good. Did y'all hear that? If you guys didn't watch the full podcast, please go back and rewind. Once again, sister, thank you so much for sharing this time and space with us and letting everybody know where to get your book. If you need grounding, if you need some direction in your life, holler. Charmaine can help you. This is what she does for a living, and she's very passionate about it. Thank you all for tuning in. And sis, was there any thing that you want to leave the audience with before we go?
Yeah, you know what? Since you were talking about grounding, and it's so important, I talk about love. Love is energy all around us. And sometimes people don't realize that sometimes we're everywhere. But if you just take 3 deep breaths, bring in that love, take a deep breath, inhale that love, and release whatever doesn't serve you. Do that 3 times. One more time. Let's do it all together. Bring in love, a good deep breath, and release what doesn't serve you. One more time. Bring in love, all that love around you, and let them shoulders just drop. And what you just did was poured all your energy back into the oneness of who
Mm,
you are, so you can kind of focus on who you, yes, or what mission or what you have to do. And yes, hug yourself, because love is all around us. We have no idea of the love that's around us, but staying positive is the key. You can't go wrong with positivity. Never.
yeah. If you thought this episode was fire, y'all better wait till next week. Tap in with your sister Charmaine. Like she said, you can hit her up on Cash App. Her Cash App is $ Charmaine Holland. And also to hit
Zell,
me up so that way you can also find her other information if needed. All
thank
right,
you.
y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
It's been a blessing.
afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. Don't do anything crazy.
Yes, stay positive. Stay positive.
Stay
Yes.
positive.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Doc.